You've been lied to in the most subtle way possible. Not by governments, not by the media, but by something far closer, your own mind. It tells you this is reality, that what you see is what's real, that your thoughts are yours. But none of that is true. Every second your perception is filtered, twisted, and served back to you as truth. But it's not truth. It's illusion, and you don't even realize it. That's what makes it dangerous. Look around you. Everything feels solid, predictable, familiar. But when was the last time you questioned what you're actually seeing? Science already knows the brain doesn't record reality. It guesses. It hallucinates what it thinks is there. You're not watching life. You're watching your mind's interpretation of it. And the scariest part, you believe it without question. But what if you could see through it? What if there was a way out of the trap, without going anywhere? A way to see what's been hiding in plain sight your entire life? In this video, you'll discover the hidden mechanisms that keep you looping, doubting, and reacting. And more importantly, you'll discover the one thing that illusion can't touch. So now the question is, are you really awake or just dreaming with your eyes open? 1. The trap of perception. You wake up and assume the world is waiting for you. The bed feels real, the walls look solid, and the morning light seems like truth. But none of it is direct. What you see is just data filtered through your brain. Light bounces, your eyes receive, but it's the mind that paints the picture. That's not vision, it's interpretation, a personal, filtered illusion dressed up as reality. You look in the mirror and see yourself, or at least that's what you think. What you're actually seeing is a mental image projected onto a face. Your brain fills in the blanks with what it expects. A wrinkle here, a smile there. It's not objective. It's perception, tinted with memory and emotion. Even your own reflection can't escape the trap. Think about how easily a magician tricks the eye. It's not magic, it's expectation. You see what your mind predicts, not what's actually there. You miss the gorilla in the room because your focus was elsewhere. Life becomes sleight of hand, and you call it truth without a second thought. But what if the magician isn't on a stage? What if it lives inside your skull? That voice whispering, "This is real," might not be on your side. If all you've ever seen is your brain's guesswork, have you ever seen reality at all? 2. The invisible filters. You weren't born with beliefs, you absorbed them. From the moment you opened your eyes, the world began programming you. Parents, teachers, culture, media, they handed you a filter and called it truth. And through that filter, you've been interpreting reality ever since. But what if most of what you believe isn't even yours? What if your perception is just a second-hand story, passed down and repeated so many times you stopped questioning? Take a moment and consider how your memories shape what you see. If you once failed at something, now your mind colors similar situations with fear. If someone broke your trust, you see betrayal where there may be none. Your brain isn't showing you the world, it's showing you your past. The ego thrives on predictability. It recycles old emotional data to create a sense of control. But what it really creates is blindness. Your mind doesn't want to be proven wrong. It filters out anything that threatens its beliefs. Ever notice how you ignore compliments but obsess over one insult? That's not accidental, it's your conditioning at work. You literally delete parts of reality that don't fit the story. The mind protects the illusion at all costs, not because it's evil, but because it's afraid. Awareness, however, sees the filter and starts asking different questions. So here's a practical experiment. Spend one day watching your inner dialogue. Don't try to change it, just observe. Notice how often it reacts, defends, assumes, or judges before you even finish a thought. Then ask yourself, is that really you, or just a filter doing its job? Because if truth is hiding in what your mind refuses to see, then maybe what you aren't noticing is where your freedom lives. 3. The illusion of choice. You think you're choosing, but the choice already happened before you were even aware of it. Neuroscience has shown this in brain scans. The decision lights up in the brain before you consciously make it. So who's choosing? The conscious mind takes credit, like a politician claiming a win they didn't earn. But deep down, your actions rise from automatic patterns, habits, memories, most of which you never asked for. Free will or a rehearsed routine? Imagine walking into a room and suddenly remembering a song from your childhood. You didn't plan that. It arose, just like the thought you're having now. It wasn't summoned, it appeared. That's how most of your thoughts work. They're like radio signals, and your brain is the antenna. But if you're just receiving, not creating, then what exactly are you in control of? The ego hates that question, because it lives off the illusion of authorship. This doesn't mean you're powerless. It means there's another way to live, one that starts with awareness instead of assumption. The moment you catch yourself reacting, pause. Ask, where did that thought come from? You'll notice something strange. It came uninvited, like a pop-up ad in your mental browser. Recognizing this starts to loosen the grip of the illusion. You begin to step behind the thought rather than be swept away by it. So here's something to try. Before you make any decision today, stop and wait 5 seconds. Just observe the desire. Does it fade? Does it grow? Or was it never really yours to begin with? The more you slow down, the more clearly you'll see the invisible puppeteer behind the curtain. And that opens the door to the next question. If you're not choosing your thoughts, then who exactly is this you making all the noise? 4. The false self. You've been playing a role so long, you started believing you are the character. But pause for a second. Where exactly is this you? Is it your name? That was given to you. Your beliefs, installed, your memories, filtered and biased. Every piece of what you call yourself is stitched together from outside material. It's a patchwork of impressions, not a solid core. And yet this bundle of habits walks around like it's a fixed identity. That's the trap. The ego isn't evil, it's just confused. It tries to hold everything together by pretending to be someone. It says, this is who I am, and then fights to protect that idea, even if that idea is limiting, painful, or outdated. But look closer. Who are you when you're not thinking about who you are? Who are you in those silent moments before thought returns? That's the space the ego can't touch, and that's where truth begins to flicker. You've seen glimpses of this, maybe while watching a sunset, or during heartbreak, or in deep laughter when you forgot yourself completely. In those moments, the story paused, and something real was felt. Not you as a character, but awareness itself. It wasn't thinking, planning, comparing. It was just being. That's always been there. But it's been buried under the noise of a self you were told to be. The illusion isn't in being someone, it's in thinking that someone was ever real. So try this. The next time you feel defensive or triggered, instead of reacting, ask, who is this happening to? Not as a trick, but as a genuine investigation. You might be surprised by the silence that follows. The character might flinch, but awareness? It doesn't flinch. It watches the show without being the actor. And once you see that the actor was never really you, you start to notice the script repeating itself again and again. 5. The loop of thought. You ever notice how some thoughts just won't leave you alone? Same worries, same regrets, same imaginary arguments. It's like your mind gets stuck on repeat. That's not coincidence. That's programming. The ego loops because looping is safe. Familiar pain is less scary than unknown silence. So the mind spins stories about the past, fantasies about the future, anything to avoid what's actually happening now. And you believe it because it feels familiar. But familiar doesn't mean true. Imagine you're walking through your house and stub your toe. You curse, you feel the pain, but an hour later you're still mentally replaying it. Not the pain, the story of the pain. I should have watched where I was going. This always happens. What's wrong with me? That's the loop in action. The event passed, but your mind won't let it go. The illusion isn't the thought. It's thinking the thought is you. That's how it traps you in patterns you didn't choose. So how do you break the loop? You catch it. Like noticing a song stuck in your head. Once you see it, you can stop singing. Start by observing. What thought shows up most often when you're alone? What story plays every time something goes wrong? Write it down. See it for what it is. Recycled noise. It wants your attention. But it doesn't deserve your identity. And once you stop identifying, the loop begins to unravel. Still, don't be surprised if the loop resists. It's designed to protect the ego's little kingdom. It feeds on repetition, on drama, on mental noise. And the moment you start watching it instead of dancing with it, something strange happens. The loop starts glitching, and the ego starts fighting back. Doubt creeps in. Resistance builds, and just like that, you're staring into the next layer of the illusion. 6. The ego's defense. Your mind doesn't like being exposed. The moment you start seeing the illusion, the ego scrambles to protect itself. It whispers doubts like, "This is stupid," or "You're overthinking," or even worse, "You already know this." That voice isn't you. It's the defense system of a structure terrified of crumbling. The ego isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to survive, but it survives by keeping you small, distracted, reactive, by convincing you that silence is dangerous. You'll feel it when you meditate, and your mind suddenly remembers 100 things you need to do. You'll notice it when you try to be present and your brain screams for stimulation. That's not a failure. That's the ego's built-in alarm. It's terrified of being irrelevant, and silence makes it irrelevant, so it fills the space with noise, anything to avoid the rawness of awareness. Because awareness doesn't need the ego, and the ego knows that. The trick is not to fight the resistance, but to watch it. When the doubts show up, observe them like passing clouds. Ah, there you are again. Notice how predictable the reactions are. Same fear, different disguise. You might even laugh at how desperately the ego tries to pull you back into the loop. That laughter, that's power. That's a crack in the illusion. Because the moment you stop believing the voice, it starts to lose its grip. Want a practical way to disarm it? Sit in silence for 5 minutes. No music, no scrolling, just sit. When the discomfort rises, don't escape. Notice. Don't argue. Watch. You'll see the defense mechanisms rise like waves and pass. And underneath it all, something quieter begins to stir. Not the voice, not the fear, something else. But of course, that something can't be reached through words, only through what comes next. 7. The escape that was never a place. You've searched for the exit your whole life. In books, retreats, achievements, relationships, always chasing a way out. But what if there's nowhere to escape to? Because the trap was never out there. The real trap was the illusion that you needed to become something. Awareness doesn't need to become, it already is, but you've been trained to overlook it, to chase the next idea, the next identity, the next fix. And in doing so, you miss the only thing that's not a trap. Here's the paradox. The door was never locked. In fact, there is no door. There's just the illusion of one. And the moment you stop trying to break out, you realize you were never truly in. It's like waking up from a nightmare where you were trying to wake up. Awareness isn't something you gain. It's what remains when all effort to find stops. That stillness behind the thoughts, that's not nothing. That's you, not the story, the space. You can test this for yourself. Next time you're overwhelmed, don't try to fix it. Don't run, don't suppress, don't solve. Just pause. Notice the thoughts without claiming them. Let the emotion exist without owning it. In that moment, awareness becomes visible, not as a thing, but as the absence of chaos. It's subtle, it's quiet, but once you've touched it, even for a second, something changes. You realize freedom isn't an outcome. It's a perspective. But most people will never look. They're too busy believing what they see. So here's the final question, the one that turns the key. What happens when you stop believing what you see?